Eggman.
First stage.
Greetings, my children. It is I, TheMentok, YouTube's prophet, YouTube's savior. And today I've come to you to do something that no one else has ever done. It is time to sort out the Sonic the Hedgehog timeline. And I'm talking like, make sense of it. Because Sega doesn't seem to want to do that, so maybe I should step in and do something about it. And that's why I'm going to be posting the definitive Sonic timeline, the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. Well, I don't want to spoil the end for you, do I? I just want to lay everything out in a clear timeline so that everyone's aware of what's happening right now. I've met a lot of people who are also fans of Sonic, and they don't really seem to know what's going on. And neither do I, really. And this is why it's going to be a learning experience for all of us. Not just you, but the person next to you. The person in the house beside you. Me.
We're all gonna learn together, Soldier.
That's the point of this. So, sit back and let's go on this journey together. You have everyone trying to piece together all other timelines, for example, The Legend of Zelda. I mean, now we have 3 different dimensions. What if I told you we have over 5 dimensions in the Sonic universe? As far as I've gotten right now, because, you know, let's say that the whole script's not written yet. Anyway, people love to delve in the timeline for Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Bros. But today, we're going to really try and nail this down. And that's why it's going to be a learning experience for all of us. With that said, let's get to work. Our timeline starts off very simple. We have a hedgehog that lives on an island called South Island, moving around at its own leisure. No one knows what really causes this, but legend states that it could be because of Chaos Emeralds hidden somewhere on this island. Those emeralds are said to grant unlimited energy and power to living beings. Enter nefarious Dr. Eggman. Eggman wants to control everything, so he enslaves the animals on South Island and has them search for the Chaos Emeralds for him. But our boy Sonic ain't having that. He puts on his sneakers, don't think about that too much, and runs off to save the day from Dr. Eggman, going from zone to zone, taking out robots by robots, and freeing his friends from Eggman's evil clutches. And by the way, yes, I'm saying Eggman. It says Eggman right here on the dude's airship in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So, cut me some slack. I gotta stick to one name, even if y'all don't like it. Anyway, back to the story. So my boy Eggman is here flying around trying to collect all the emeralds and whatnot, but Sonic's not having that. He collects them first, then heads over to Final Egg, the last zone in the game, and has a heart-to-heart with Eggman. Nah, I'm just kidding. They fight it out. They duke it out. Bam, bam, bam. Everybody, robots are flying everywhere. Things are flying. He's trying to compress Sonic into mincemeat with some stupid machine that just flattens 4 different sections. Why not have 6 instead and just completely lay waste to the entire area? That's beside the point though. Sonic foils Eggman's plans once and for all and frees his friends and keeps the Chaos Emeralds away from Eggman and finally returns home to his place in South Island. And that ends Sonic the Hedgehog 1. Very simple, very straightforward. I'm gonna put it here in a place that I call the original timeline. Now, you're probably wondering, oh, how the heck does this get confusing? This is pretty straightforward. It's Sonic, it's Eggman. Where's everybody else? Well, I'll get to everybody else. Everybody else gonna get a break. Trust me. So just to put a cap on this, we don't know what happens before Sonic the Hedgehog. We don't know how he's so fast, and we don't know how Eggman found out about the Chaos Emeralds. But maybe, just maybe, I'm gonna be making an edit to my timeline very soon. Now you may think just because there's a game called Sonic the Hedgehog 2 that's the next one in line. Nope, that award goes to Sega Sonic the Hedgehog, an exclusive arcade game made for Japan. And there's some vintage arcades that may have this game around somewhere in the United States, but as far as we know, this thing's pretty obscure. Now this game's a little bit different by the fact that you can choose from 3 different characters. Sonic, and 2 new characters called Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel. Now, average people may not know who the heck these 2 are, but this is their very first appearance. And this game sort of goes in the way where you roll a ball in the middle of the arcade machine to control Sonic, Mighty, or Ray, respectively. And you thwart Eggman's plans once again. Now, there's not much to go around in this story to really riff off of, but I've decided there's one very important detail at the end of this game that made me decide where this goes on the timeline. At the very end of the game, once Mighty, Sonic, and Ray thwart Eggman's plans, we see him falling from the sky, straight down, 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 into a body of water. And this leads to what's next on the timeline. Sonic CD. Oh, nope. Still not Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Did I fool anyone yet? No, there's a method to my madness. And listen carefully, folks. Sonic CD is next in the timeline. Oh, he's an absolute madman. He decided Sonic CD comes before Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Yes, I've totally decided that this is what happened. At the end of Sega Sonic the Hedgehog, we see Eggman fall into a body of water. Now, this is headcanon, but I hypothesize that this is the lake at the very beginning in the intro of Sonic CD. Now, the story behind Sonic CD is that for 1 month out of the year, there's a celestial body called Little Planet that appears over the enormous Never Lake, a large body of water that I believe Eggman fell into. Now, this madman decides to chain this planet to the Earth and starts to go after the Time Stones instead of the Chaos Emeralds this time. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means he wants to use these Time Stones to manipulate time. Not the one around my neck. 7 different Time Stones that are located on Little Planet. Now, this is the first appearance of Amy Rose and Metal Sonic, and these 2 return throughout the series. Hang on, Gray. So my dog Eggman decides to tether the entirety of Little Planet down onto the Earth, and Sonic sees this, sees what's up, and goes after Eggman once again. We get this badass intro of Sonic running, created by the same makers of Dragon Ball Z Toei at the time. This still holds up. If you have a chance, I'd say check this out because it's super cool. As Sonic speeds over to the Little Planet, he thwarts Eggman's plans again by collecting all the Time Stones and going throughout time to thwart Eggman in the past, thus saving the future of Little Planet. In the meantime, we see Amy Rose, who is a fanatic of Sonic and self-proclaimed girlfriend. Now she finds herself here by playing around with tarot cards in an attempt to look into the future, and her cards told her that she had a destined encounter with Sonic at Never Lake. Thus she ends up there, puts herself in the middle of trouble, gets kidnapped by Metal Sonic. This has Sonic go throughout and collect the Time Stones, save the past, thwart Eggman's plans in the future, destroy Metal Sonic once and for all, and save Amy successfully while jumping off the Little Planet and returning to their home. Now, I want you to remember this place, Little Planet, because it will be back. But as of right now, I'm putting Sonic CD after Sega Sonic the Hedgehog. This is where it goes on the original timeline. Man, you casual fans must be wondering when the fuck I'm gonna get to Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Well, hate to burst your bubble, boy, that's not what's next on the list.
Bitch, you done?
So after thwarting my dog Eggman for like the 4th or 5th time...
Wait a minute! 1, 2, 3. Oh man!
After thwarting Eggman for like 3 times, Sonic decides to go on an adventure someplace else. So he takes a plane that he has. Yes, he has a plane. It's called a Tornado. Alright, don't get on me with that. I don't know where he got it from. He just has it. He takes his plane Tornado and goes off looking for adventure in the world. He ends up in another island called West Side Island. Now here we go, I'm gonna read this verbatim because this is ridiculous. This is stuff that even I didn't know. So according to legend, there was once a great and prosperous people who lived on its shores, who achieved their greatness through the use of mysterious and powerful stones. Does this sound familiar yet? Their peace could have been everlasting if not for a select few who decided to use the stones for their own selfish gains.
As one does.
Causing the gods to take away the stones and hide them away on the island. Yes. There are all-powerful gods and deities in the Sonic universe, and this is just the first hint of them. So a few days after landing, Sonic realizes he was being followed by someone, and he spots a young fox, who is named Miles Prower, also known as Tails, and this is when a beautiful friendship sprung. So often ridiculed by his peers, Tails' outlook on life changed immediately once he spotted Sonic running around his home dedicated that he had to follow and emulate his new hero, and that's why he figured out how to twirl his tails in a way to propel him at supersonic speeds. Well, maybe. That's debatable. Anyway, so those stones I told you about earlier, of course Eggman's after them, and these are what I'll be considering the real Chaos Emeralds. So there are 7 of them on this island. Now, before in the first game, Sonic the Hedgehog, there were 6, and we never see these stones again.
Are you sure?
There's even one that's missing, or it's a different color or something or another. I'm gonna verify it on the screen as I'm speaking right now.
Well, you're not wrong.
So I'm gonna call these the real Chaos Emeralds. There are 7 of them, and they have proven that they grant unlimited power, as we've heard in the legends. Also, a side note on the Chaos Emeralds, I'm not going to be tracking their location throughout this timeline, so please don't at me about, oh, well, where were the Chaos Emeralds when you said this? This is the timeline, damn it. It's a definitive timeline, alright? So everything is going to make sense, I promise. So Sonic meets my dog Tails, and the 2 boys, now the boys are back. They're ready to take down Eggman once again. And they find themselves going from zone to zone, saving friends very similar to the first game, collecting Chaos Emeralds on the way. Now at the very end, we find out that Eggman plans on using them to power his latest creation, the Death Egg. This even looks more gangster than the Death Star. This has a big mustache on it. Come on, Darth Vader. You couldn't put something like that on yours? There's a big old stash on this thing, and it goes straight up into the air to be his greatest weapon. I have no idea what he's going to do with it, but that thing is powerful. Remember this thing, because you'll be seeing it several times in this timeline. So after cornering Eggman onto his flying fortress, he retreats to the Death Egg, where Sonic goes up and fights to the death with Silver Sonic, some prototype robotic Sonic that looks similar to metal. Sonic and Eggman have one last battle, the big Death Egg robot versus Sonic, possibly with no rings if you played this game properly, and it's a close battle to the death, but finally, Sonic triumphs over Eggman once again, and rushes out as the Death Egg explodes. Fire and brimstone everywhere, he leaps out into space, plummeting down toward the atmosphere. By the way, hedgehogs are like Saiyans, they can survive in space.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And as he's falling down, with no hope to regain his strength to save himself, Tails comes out of nowhere and saves him with his plane, Tornado, promptly stealing the ownership from Sonic. Yep, that's part of the timeline too. Sonic hands over the title to the plane. Again, don't at me. So you imagine after that last win, Sonic and Tails feel pretty good about themselves at this point. So they decide to fuck off to some island and go on some vacation or something or another, while Eggman's already planning his next move. Alright? That's how true achievers do it. They gotta take L after L to get what they want, alright? No matter how many failures, there'll always be a victory. That's what y'all need to learn from my dog Eggman here, because he knows what's up. So at the end of Sonic 2, they knock the Death Egg out of the sky and collect all 7 Chaos Emeralds. So Sonic takes these emeralds with him on vacation with Tails to some nearby island. Eggman... Man, you guys have to check out these Japanese manuals. They have like lore in it, boy. I didn't even know about all this stuff. I wish I had all this context when I played as a kid. As Eggman plummets down from the sky in his Death Egg, he lands on the floating island known as Angel Island, and it quickly plummets down into the ocean. And in a nearby island, Tails is working on his invention, the Jewel Radar, which senses chaos energy nearby, which cause him and Sonic to spring back into action. Sonic spots a strange ring, and I quote this part as well, straight from the manual, washed up on shore. Running over to it, Sonic picks up the ring, notice the character of an ancient language, and here we go, we're talking about the gods again. Immediately, Sonic was reminded of a legend he'd heard long ago about an ancient civilization that lived upon an island, creating society of peace and harmony. The people that lived within attributed their great prosperity to the Stone of Power, a sacred gem whose energy guided them. Boy, there's too many gods that we don't know about yet. And this should be incorporated in future Sonic lore, I'm just saying. Anyway, the legend that this guy is talking about is taking place on Angel Island, the home of our homeboy Rastafari and Knuckles the Echidna. Yes, Dreadlocks himself. He comes out and he's like, yo dog, wagwan. His island gets crashed into by Eggman, and he's decided to wander around and see what's going on and why this big ass egg decided to hit his island. There he meets Eggman, who tricks him into believing that Sonic was the cause of this, and that they're coming for his precious stone, the Master Emerald. Hearing Eggman's nefarious lie, Knuckles believes it, chance, no boy can bad me up, and runs straight out to confront Sonic the Hedgehog in this massive collision of the minds. Now we have multiple forces at work. We have Sonic trying to save the island and see what's going on while exploring. We have Knuckles trying to defend his home and bring it back into the sky where it belongs. And Eggman trying to collect jewels of mystical power as usual to release his will upon the earth. Back to our boy Sonic, he hops off the plane and cockily turns into Super Sonic. Oh, did I not mention Super Sonic before? Oh, he can turn Super Saiyan now with the Chaos Emeralds. That's definitely something that I missed in the Sonic 2 part, but whatever. Still right on the timeline. Caught off guard, Knuckles swung at Sonic, knocking him off balance, and the Chaos Emeralds leave him. He collects all the emeralds and runs off while Sonic is there with Tails to chase after him. Once again, they go on an epic adventure throughout zone to zone, chasing after Knuckles and Eggman and trying to figure out the mystery of this island. So while Eggman attempts to repair the Death Egg, Sonic and Tails confront him at Launch Base Zone, where they fight Knuckles. But then, in that moment, the Death Egg relaunches, and on a platform attached to the egg, Sonic and Eggman duke it out once again, causing the Death Egg to crash back to Angel Island. And this continues with the next part of the Sonic timeline, Sonic and Knuckles. Sonic and Knuckles picks up exactly where Sonic 3 left off, and these were meant to be the same game initially, but due to time constraints and issues with storage on the cartridge, this was separated into Sonic and Knuckles. This is what began lock-on technology, where you're able to attach the two cartridges together and put it in the Sega Genesis system to play both games. And if you had both of them together, they actually had differences in the mechanics, which was pretty cool at the time. But now I'm talking more about the game rather than the timeline, so let me get back on point here. So we pick up after Sonic 3, where our dog Eggman is trying to get the Death Egg back up into the sky. It's still damaged in the battle with Sonic and crash lands back onto Angel Island. Sonic goes through each zone to retrieve the Chaos Emeralds to defeat Eggman once and for all, and still comes in contact with Knuckles. Finally, this dude realizes that he's being tricked by Eggman, so him and Sonic are all of a sudden buddies. So Knuckles looks at Sonic and he says, "Yo, respect." And Sonic's like, yeah, help me out with this. So Knuckles helps him out. They go up to the Sky Sanctuary where the Death Egg is relaunching once again. Sonic infiltrates the Death Egg and successfully defeats Eggman as Super Sonic in space once more. And it's all a happy ending as the Death Egg comes plummeting down to the Earth's surface again. You figure something like that, if it keeps falling, it would have damaged the shit out of this planet. But it still seems intact. But anyway, I know you guys are looking at this like, well, I know this doesn't seem as confusing as I thought. You had those two games that I would never place before Sonic 2. What is this guy talking about? Well, we are closing in on the moment where everything changes in this timeline. So as Sonic thwarts Eggman's plans again, Knuckles searches for the Master Emerald. He successfully gets in a fight with Mecha Sonic. They have a crazy fight at the top of the Sky Sanctuary. And finally, Knuckles managed to defeat him and retrieve the Master Emerald. And as he's plummeting down from the sky, Sonic and Tails pick him up in the tornado. They drop him off. He returns the Master Emerald. Everything's all good. It heads back to the sky. Bye-bye, Knuckles. It was great seeing you. But as all of you all know, he's definitely coming back. So next up in this timeline is Knuckles Chaostix, a game that a lot of people don't even know exists. But I'm going to cover it anyway because it's very important to the lore of the overall Sonic universe, and you'll see why. So according to the game's Japanese manual, some mysterious island rose from the sea shortly after the events of Sonic and Knuckles, and Dr. Eggman discovers this island and found a mysterious small ring inscribed with descriptions of a lost civilization. And of course, I'm trying to figure out where these rings came from. Who is dropping all these rings everywhere for people to read about mythological gods and deities and stones? That's not the first time you'll hear about stone tablets and mysterious rings. Anyway, Eggman discovers a special ring similar to the ones that were on Angel Island. This is how you get the Chaos Emeralds. They jump into these rings and warp away. Yeah, those. So remember those. These special rings, they created a dimensional space filled with the Master Emerald's energy, which is crystallized and formed 6 Chaos Rings. So now we have 6 more items of mythical standard. And I don't know where these things went after this game. They haven't returned at all, but I guess it's worth talking about because we got 3 new characters. We got Espio the Chameleon, we got Vector the Crocodile, and we got Charmy B. 3 of the most gangsters of the gangst. They're only worried about one thing, and that's money. They go, they do work for everybody. They're detectives. but before that, this was their humble beginnings. So these three characters, they arrive at the island. They get captured by Eggman and Metal Sonic. Knuckles comes in and he manages to rescue Espio the Chameleon. And then they go on this adventure amongst themselves to thwart Eggman's plans once again. Where's Sonic and Tails in all of this? I have no clue. They probably saved the world one too many times, so they're like, fuck it! You're too slow! Knuckles comes out to the island and saves Espio, curious about that strange Master Emerald energy I mentioned a while ago. For those that need the reminder that Master Emerald is that big, emerald that was on his island that caused the whole war on Angel Island. That's what I'm calling it right now anyway. So they thwart Eggman's plans again and leave Metal Sonic and Eggman to escape the island. And with the worst ending of any Sonic game ever, that's it. They just post up at the end. Like, yeah, we did that. And then Sonic and Tails come just flying in on this random plane just to say what's up. Worst ending in all of these games ever. But that's beside the point. This goes here on the timeline, right underneath Sonic and Knuckles. This part of the timeline is what I like to call the Dimensional Ring Saga, because this guy Eggman is checking out these giant rings. He's given up on the Chaos Emeralds, given up on the Time Stones, so it's time to look onto these giant rings that go into different dimensions, it seems. So, who do we have here? We got Sonic 3D Blast. Yes, that really shitty 3D game that you guys played back in the day that you forced to think was good because Sonic was in it. Anywho, Dr. Eggman is staring at these little flickies going in and out of these dimensional rings, and now he's figured, oh, they live in another dimension, huh? So he puts another plan into motion and he decides to capture them and harness their power to claim the Chaos Emeralds for himself. Now you're probably asking me, didn't Sonic have the Chaos Emeralds last? Wouldn't that put this in an alternate timeline? Nope. We'll say he lost them. That's simply what happened. This comes after Knuckles Chaotix. So Sonic solo goes out there to visit Flicky Island and save these feathered friends from Eggman's clutches. Once again, he defeats Eggman and things go back to normal on Flicky Island. Pretty simple story. It comes directly after Knuckles Chaotix. So now you're probably wondering where the heck all the Game Gear games go. There are so many of those, they have to fit in the timeline somewhere. Well, here's what I had to do. These were split into an alternate timeline. So just as I have the original Sonic timeline here with the games from the main line, in the other timeline, the Game Gear timeline, let's call it, we have Sonic 1, Sonic 2, both for Game Gear, Sonic Chaos, Sonic Triple Trouble, Sonic Drift, Sonic Drift 2, Tails Sky Patrol, Tails Adventure, Sonic Labyrinth, and finally, Sonic Blast. Now those go in their own continuum, and they all have separate stories that are very different from the original timeline. They're very hard to fit into those set of events, especially squeezing it in between like Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles and all that. So that's where those are going to go for now. And now if you're a huge Sonic fan like me back in the day, you probably watched Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Just a silly cartoon with Sonic and Tails destroying Eggman and his plans, along with his sidekicks Scratch and Grounder. It was a silly cartoon, but there were games in that continuum as well. So we definitely have to make a separate dimension for that. So we're gonna stick Sonic Spinball and Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine into the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog dimension. Now, that gives us 3 separate Sonic continuums right now. So let's start the Sonic dimension count. We're now at 3. So we have the original timeline, we have the Game Gear timeline, and now we have the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog timeline. And we can say that the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog timeline is complete with these 2 games, Mean Bean Machine and Sonic Spitball. I don't want to hear anyone call this a cop-out, by the way. They just don't fit. Alright? They're in separate dimensions. I'm putting it out there right now. These are different incarnations of Sonic. Yeah. But of course, we have just enough time for Comment of the Week, my children. Yes, this is the segment where I showcase the comment that I've chosen to display to the rest of my children. This week's comment of the week is from R. Maxi, who says, underrated channel. I'm determined you will have 50k by the end of 2019. But you're a time traveler, only you know. Awesome way of making commentary. Thank you, R. Maxi. 50k, let's hope. I would be happy with at least 10. But hey, maybe I'm just leading you guys on. maybe I do already know the answer. Maybe this is the whole reason I came back. Maybe in my time, there is no YouTube. It's completely wiped. And it was always my dream to be such a thing when I was younger, in the future. So I decided to come back here to live that dream. Only I would know. Thanks again, Armaxi. You the best. Please stick with me. We will grow this channel. We'll definitely move forward as a people, and I will not let you all down, as I say every week, with more content. It will be done. That'll do it for another week, my children. Stay tuned, because we have plenty more in the coming weeks. Will I ever manage to complete that timeline and make it coherent from start to finish? Will I Am Lost 27 ever get comment of the week? Only you can find out if you stay tuned. Make sure to share the video with those you think would like this type of content. It definitely will help me out and help us grow overall as a channel. And please let me know if this is the quality that you enjoy in the comment section below, as you always do. You can follow me at Mentok on Twitter and at The Prophet Awakens on Instagram. And once again, my children, the Prophet has spoken.